Hello everyone, today we're going to play Vulcan. My previous recording went messed up because my disk was full. So I just deleted some videos and we should be good to go. So we're gonna ban basically everything that's SS. There's no specific bans I really want to get into besides Hell. Hell is just something that just straight up counters Vulcan because, well, Hell's first of all higher in the tier list for good reasons. And second of all, whenever like you play a mage like Agni or Vulcan, you're basically poking your enemy because you can't really one-shot. Well, Agni is more likely to, but Vulcan is more like chase and with passive and try and one-shot. Not trying to one-shot, trying to follow them and out-trade them and poke them down basically. And Hell just heals up. And even if you invest fully into anti-healing, it's not gonna do enough. So I'm gonna ban Hell, hopefully. Consoles is also open. He didn't ban anything that made sense to me right now. I mean, Hyndallir makes sense. I don't really feel Freya this tier. I guess we're gonna have to deal with Hell. I wouldn't really even recommend playing Vulcan if you really want to go for the win, because there's too many things that just are too broken at this point in Duel. So yeah, Pele is open. Hell is open, and Poseidon are open, and Seren are open, and Amaterasu are open. There's just so many gods that just straight up beat Vulcan. I didn't even go over all the ADCs that also beat Vulcan. So anyway, here we're gonna go. Hopefully he doesn't play one of those crazy broken characters. He plays Kali. I'm pretty sure he should be winning this, but hey, let's make the most of it and we'll see what happens. So to start, I'm going to build. Usually I go Chronos Pendant against mages, and against physicals I'll start with Bancroft because I'm going for still gonna go for 2 HP I think. No, I'll go for 1 mana. I don't think it's gonna be. Yeah, I just don't think it's gonna be that scary. I'm gonna go for 2 relics, which are very endgame oriented. Which is not maybe the best thing to go for, but I'm still going for it anyway. Sprint and Aegis. I feel like Akali's ult is short enough to justify Aegis, so you can like decrease his duration of his ult basically and survive a little bit longer. We're gonna try and ward this blue real quick. This is something I always try to do. Not recommended if you're a slow buyer or you're slow loading into the game. You want to make sure you're back at your buff right in time. I'm slightly late. I'm actually just in time. Was very close. I don't want to be half of a second late already. It's just so important to be in time. I'll kite around a little bit with my buff, making sure I don't lose too much HP on it. Don't want to use a potion as Vulcan clearing. As you can see, he's almost half HP just clearing the buff. His build, however, is very strange. I don't know how this would ever make sense. He does heal up with his jump, and he's very low on mana, but obviously he has mana buff. So hey, we're gonna see where it will go. Kind of a strange way to start though. I never seen anyone play it like this. Hey, boost 3 soon. Already boosts 2. That's a weird skin. Is that a new one? I don't know. Oh, I just misclicked. Is it an instant cast? No, it's not. I don't know how that happened. Look, it doesn't matter. It's all good. Where's my turret placed? Right, I just messed that up with a misclick. Okay then. Let's just focus on the fight. He has a lot of potions. I always look at the build a lot and just think about how can I fight this. He's playing really weird. He's walking backwards and forwards in a straight line. I don't really know what to expect from my enemy now. He's playing very strangely. I'll try to not use too much mana. I believe simply just 2 1s. It's going to clear the archers, and I'll deal with the rest with basic attacks, I guess. Or they already die by my own minions, combined with the 2 shots. So there's that. He went in with his tree to get more damage increase. Kind of something I would only consider end game to do, or like mid game. I wouldn't consider doing that early game at all. I'll ult this simply to stay a little bit longer into the game. Actually didn't expect him to ult there because he's not in danger of dying. I just basically wanted to use my ult to get a better position. Even better than I already had. So normally I would rotate the buffs, but because I feel like pressuring him will help me a lot as well. Denying him some gold here. I'm just going, just securing my lead. I don't want him to back yet. I'll wait for the last moment of his recall to stop him. And then we're just gonna use a lot of mana right now. I'm gonna actually clear the wave because Red buff is up. there's a nice incentive to go for something else than waves, and I'll stop pressuring him for a moment. And here we go. I'll put 2 points in my turret. Normally I wouldn't do it as early, but because, well, he's playing very weirdly and I'm just going for buffs now a lot, I guess I'll just put it in. I'm going for boost 3 immediately, as he is doing it as well, it seemed like. And it's time to just rush some buffs down. Normally I could even try and save for his blue, but ever since he did it so slowly, it's still taking a little bit longer to spawn. I just didn't seem like it would make sense. I was also kind of getting low on mana. I'm not sure how long my turret survives, better safe than sorry. I'm pretty sure it will survive this way. It's still like 40% health perhaps, something like that. So yeah, 2 points into it will make it quite strong. I'm not entirely sure how it works with the HP, but I believe the more points you put in it, the more tanky and damage it does. Damage for sure. I think it's more tanky as well. You could even read the ability. Play a lot of Vulcan, but that's something I don't even know exactly of how it works, and I don't know if anyone ever figured out the exact numbers. Like, you could know that how it works approximately, but the exact numbers? I don't think we'll figure that out. I didn't even know that my turret ignores 25% of the magic protection of the enemy. That's something I honestly did not know. Wow. Just read your skills sometimes, guys. Like I should probably do. Okay, he used Blink. We have to be very careful here. He uses the second engage. I'm just going to clear this wave with our ult. To maintain a decent position to fight for... Well, I'm not sure what. I guess we're going to go for this. Or just try and kill him when he jumps on my arches. Like he always does. Okay. We're not going to be able to kill him like this now. I believe he's just going to go for speed buff. Have quite a lot of HP. Probably finish Bancroft. I do want to be safe against Kali. If you get first blooded, it's devastating because Kali gets so much gold. First blood shouldn't be in duel, but it's there. And hey, if Kali gets the kill, it gets additional gold, so you want to have your defense kind of like ASAP, but I'll take my risk because he's playing kind of weirdly and his blink is down. But next item is definitely going to be breastplate. And yeah, after that, I'm thinking Midgardian is going to be an item we're going to pick up later into the game, because you don't want to have Kali glued to you. Obviously when he ults, you can't slow him, but that's not a problem. We'll get Aegis as well, and Sprint. Sprint and Aegis will be our resorts to survive his ult, and Midgardian and just overall passive movement speed is going to try, yeah, my passive movement speed from my passive, so I call it passive movement speed. I will have to hit him for that, but that shouldn't be a problem. If he chases me, he can always put the turret down, and either he has to kill it or walk in it. And if he walks in it, I get movement speed. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying I should be the Kali, but you have a pretty good chance if the Kali is not on your level. There's a lot of gods where you straight up lose, even if the Kali is far lower in ranking than you are, basically, and how much you played the game and stuff, and like just basically how good he is determined of all that. So yeah, we're just gonna keep poking him now. I could rotate the buffs to see his blue is up. I'm just gonna make sure he's in trouble, stays in trouble. Maybe we'll ult here. I'll try to sprint. Don't think I'll get anything done now, probably not. Oh, he actually blinked away. Well, we got something there. Might ult here, but I think I'll manage just without it. I only put 2 points in my 2. That's generally something I would advise though. I usually max my 1. It doesn't matter that much though. If you prefer to max your 3, if you feel like you're gonna hit those more, or the matchup you play against just doesn't allow you to get your 1s in too well, like that's kind of weird. I don't think there's any matchups like that. So yeah, most of the time I just would max my 1, but there's nothing wrong with doing it any other way. I would say maxing your turret first thing is a bit weird. Putting some points in it is always fine. You can't really go wrong with your ability leveling. Like that's definitely not something that is like super pressing to do right, or in a certain way, let's say like that. Because there's no right or wrong other than maxing your turret immediately. So I can put more, like you can level your ult slightly. I generally avoid doing that in duel on most of the gods, Because usually your enemy has something to deal with it. Kali should be able to jump out of it most of the time. Rushed Kinseis. Okay. Okay, that's quite a lot of damage early game. But we have Sprint. We don't have it up. But I'm not really too worried at this stage. We still have our movement speed from our passive. And he doesn't have any additional movement speed items yet. And if he does, then I might want to resort to Midgardian already. If he's building it. But if he does it correctly, I think he should go for like one defense item. And if he doesn't, I might go for Midgardian. So yeah, the item I'm probably going to go for is... Normally I would go like Book of Thoth, but I think against Kali I want to go for Warlock Sash. Just slightly more safe. Let's see if this does anything. I think he still has Blink. Oh, well, there you go, Blink. I think my ult is worth less than his Blink, but who knows. Oh, just all simultaneously died to his dot. All good. I'll just leave this here. And I'll buy another item, level 1. I don't think we can get anything level 2 unless I'm gonna go for something like this, but I don't want that. You could even go Ethereal Staff. If you feel like the game won't really last long. Even if the game lasts long, buying this like last item even, like if you're like 40 minutes into a 1v1 and you suddenly want to change something, maybe Ethereal Staff is good sometimes. I wouldn't buy it right now for sure, because there's not much we steal from Kali. Like, against Kukulkan, it's pretty good to buy, because you steal his mana, right? Yes, you do. And that reduces his damage, basically. So, and then besides it, obviously, you steal his HP, is what the item is basically for. But, yeah, against Kukulkan, this is like one of those matchups where you just kind of want to get that mana stolen from him. Because it's just like additional thing you get from the item. Because normally the mana doesn't matter, but hey, here it does. Against Kukulkan, I mean. Not against Kali. Anyway, I'm gonna make it a Warlock Sash. I'll still call it that, even though it's called Warlock Staff now. We'll pick up Speed Buff on the way. I know it requires 75 stacks and the game might not last very long anymore. We're 2k ahead in gold, so I feel like we're gonna win this one sooner or later. We have to pick up another relic. I slack on that just like so many people do. Maybe you do as well right now. Who knows? There's many ways to avoid that. Like people even put stickers on their screens to remind themselves. I'm not too worried about it. I like to think about my second relic as something I did in the past as well. But nowadays, when I even know what I want to buy, I still forget it. Because the thing shows, like here I have a relic when you barely look at it. So it's like something that's like a mental thing. It's like it's in the corner of your eyes. That's always how you look at it. Because you can't spend more attention to it when you're playing in a game, basically. It's just like, you look at things differently. Either way, let's pick it up. Aegis and Warlock Staff. There we go. And, well, it doesn't matter too much if you get the stacks or not. I mean, obviously, it's kind of like, without the stacks it would be a pretty bad item. But, hey, we're gonna get stacks regardless. Even if we have like 50 stacks, I feel like it's already pretty good. I don't worry about it too much. I don't worry about stacking items too much in Duel anyway. You're getting all the waves yourself, so nothing to worry about there. I'm not sure what he's going to do. He might go for Blinkiest Shoguns. Okay. So I'm not too worried once again to die. It does give him more attack speed, but we're just basically kiting him. And before he can even ult, he already died. We're gonna go for the Demon King. Because... kind of want the blue too, but we can't have them all. We're going to try and get as little damage as possible. So I usually put my turret on the right, kite him to the left, let my turret obviously attack it. And then I'll just let my turret... Oh, I kind of did it slightly wrong, but hey, this saves you some HP. I should have let my turret taken 2 shots. And then let the charge go in, that goes slowly. Then it dies, and then you put a new one. But I kind of timed that wrong. You can count them if you know how much you need. But I'm not too experienced with it. I just show you how to do it, and now it's up to you to do it better than me. If you want to preserve your HP. Right now it wasn't really too relevant, because Kali was not going to contest it anyway. He was dead. But hey, if you want to contest it and not lose too much HP, Vulcan can actually achieve that quite well, so that's something to keep in mind. Now I have to anticipate the jump, so I'm going to position myself as close to it as possible, where I think he could jump. Make sure he can't blink when he has blink, so keep him in combat. And there we go, we just beat a Kali. And done with 36 stacks on Warlock Staff. Either way, we're going to go into builds real quickly. We're going to go over fights against physicals and mages in general. So not for specific matchups, like I said. Ethereal Staff against Kukulkan is obviously an exception. I could also recommend it sometimes against other gods, but it's really hard to say. It also really depends on what they buy as well. If they buy a lot of health, in general, Ethereal Staff is a pretty good pickup. Let's go into the builds real quick. Let's keep it general as possible. I'll go by the items one by one, which I would buy. Okay, let's say we're playing as a mage. Let's go for the starter kit real quick. We're gonna go through it really quickly because I want to keep it short. 2 HP potions. And there we go, build. This is how I would build it. Normally I could brush the boots, but hey, let's just put it in here right now for completion's sake. After you buy tier 2, often buy the boots first. So first this, then this. Against the mage, most of the time I would go for this first. You can also go for against Anubis, so exception against Anubis, and Ymir as well. So I'm gonna put this item at the place below here. This is all only for against magical. This is an exception. And against obviously very strong sustain god, like very heavy sustain gods, pestilence over this. And then we're starting to build our heavy damage item, which is always going to be Book of Thoth. I would never really skip buying that. Unless it was against a Kali, for example, where you want a little bit more safety, so I would go for the Warlock Staff. Then overall, generally, you want to have Typhons. It's a really good pickup. I'm gonna skip these items as attack for build. So I'm gonna click them one by one, and then for the last item, I almost always go for this. This gives us another 10% penetration. Now we have 20. And we're gonna go for one more item, because we can sell our shoes and buy something else. So for the 6th item, what I normally would go for, if you want more sustain this, if you feel like the fights are very fast, which is usually not the case against the mage, but maybe if you play against Freya, I would not even build Typhons. You could, but I would generally just go for more damage. So either maybe this, maybe even Poly. It really depends on what he buys as well. Divine Ruin. Actually, I totally missed out this item. You kind of always want to have Divine Ruins, so we don't have enough room for this. Apologies for making it a little bit messy, but yeah, this is probably gonna be our 5th item or 4th item. So even before Book of Thoth. So let me redo this real quickly in my head. Normally, this, Book of Thoth, then Divine Ruin, or the other way around. Then Voidstone, then you have 6 items, then you buy your last one. I would then only go for either Sustain, so Typhons, or Bancroft, or Pythax. Pythax gives you a little bit more HP, but overall this gives you penetration as well. So then you have 20% penetration. You kind of maybe want more sometimes, but you can't have it all. If your enemy builds a lot of defense, then you can either do that yourself, because you already have 2 defense items with this build. This gives you 10% penetration and a lot of defense as well. So something I don't really want to skip when I'm playing as a mage myself. So yeah, there's my build. There is that for mages. But there's some exceptions, like I said before. There's some other options. You can always go for, like I said, against Kukulkan, I would go Ethereal Staff, for example. It's just these tiny differences. So now we're going to go over the build. Hopefully, I mean, you can always pause the video and look at the build. So hopefully that was clear. Against the physical, I always start with this. Potions, depends on the matchup. If you feel like you're going to fight a lot, HP. If you feel like you're not, I would still go for safety, HP, and 1 mana. And then I would rush the boots, finish your Bancroft, buy the Breastplate of Valor, pretty much always getting that against the physical. I don't think there's ever gonna be an exception for that. Divine Ruin, I would most of the time buy. Because they always have sustain. If they don't, like Kali didn't really have much sustain. In Conquest, obviously I would buy it. Because he can heal all their allies with his ult. With his passive. But in Duel, I wouldn't buy it against Kali. So either Warlock Staff or Divine Ruin. And if neither are like necessary, you don't need that survivability that much, Book of Thoth. Against an ADC most of the time I still go even for the risk, even though survivability is always nice. I'll still go for Book of Thoth, because against an ADC, well, usually I go for like Midgardian, depending on whether it helps out with kiting or not. So yeah, there is that. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all optional. This is almost always the case, so we're going to include it in the core build. So now we have 5 items. So either Book of Thoth or Warlock Staff. And you can also, which is most of the time even better, simply go for this, Typhons. So now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, and you're going to replace the boots for something else. So what I would recommend is max up your cooldown reduction and go for this, which has pretty good synergy with Typhons. So actually I wouldn't even recommend Bancroft, honestly. This is most of the time the build I would recommend you. These items are tagged on most of the time. If you feel like you don't really need Midgardian, it's not going to do too much, I would recommend either going for Nemean if you don't think that's going to do much either, if they're really ability based heavy. You can always, if you want more defense, go for, I wouldn't even recommend this, even though people really swear by it. I don't feel like it really works out too well. You can't really rely on your turret that much. I would simply go for Jade's Emperor's Crown. There is that. That's my recommendations for the builds. Are there more exceptions that you can buy? Sure there are. There's some items you can always consider. There's some people who also buy more penetration, or they buy Chronos Pendant. They don't go for these boots. They don't go for Soul Gem. They don't go for Typhus. Most of the people don't buy Typhus and Soul Gem. That's something I really like to do. That's something that works really well in my experience. So they go for Traveler Shoes, Chronos Pendant, and Breastplate as their core, which is also pretty good. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It's just not the way I would play it. And I have better experience with other builds. So yeah, there is that. Hopefully that was a little bit clear. And if it's not, hey, you can always ask anything in the comment section, because I will read every comment and I will answer every question I deem to be making any, like, it has anything to do with like Smite. Yes. So thank you all for watching, and once again, Aerox, thank you for being my Patreon. I really try to upload more videos than the amount of videos I upload right now, the frequency I mean. I'm trying to do maybe 2 or 3 a week. I'm really pushing myself for that. And once I reach my Patreon goal, I will go out of my way to do a video every day. But I don't think that's gonna happen anytime soon, if ever. But either way, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate that. Leaving your likes as well and your comments. Thank you all. Have a nice day. And I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.
Bye!